think, act, and prosper. You are now tuned into the Money Level Show.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Money Level Show. We are live at the Rural Symposium, and today we have the pleasure of speaking with my friend Mike, the CEO of Vizsla Silver. How you doing today?
Good, man. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Yes, indeed. So what's happening with Vizsla right now? What are y'all up to?
Well, we've had a really exciting year so far, and our vision is to build one of the world's largest single asset silver producers. So this year has all been about basically putting out our resource at the beginning of the year, and now moving it through the development cycle, moving towards production. So the biggest catalyst that's coming up for us soon is our PEA. PEA stands for Preliminary Economic Assessment. Basically gives us a framework and the kind of a business plan really on how we're going to turn a bunch of rocks in the ground into a lot of money. And that's coming up here probably in the next few months, if not sooner. And that's kind of a kickoff for us to start really moving very quickly towards production. So I'm really excited about that. That's what we've been talking about here at this conference as well. Yeah.
So there was you had a lot of share price action earlier this year. What was happening there when I think many people were like, oh, the price of Vizsla it's up significantly. What was happening there?
Well, the chart looks pretty good. If you go back a year, there's a lot of things actually that were at play. Why the share price was negatively affected, why it was down kind of at a bottom. And there's really negative sentiment towards silver. I was on a silver panel yesterday, and I think it was Adrian Day was saying that silver is it's so hated. When it's hated, the sentiment is terrible for it. And then when it goes into vogue, people just want to buy it, and there's not a lot of it there, and it typically kind of performs really well. So we were at I think a low for the silver price for quite some time. Silver price has done better. That's helped us. We have an asset in Mexico. The sentiment towards Mexico is quite poor, and that's been improving as well. There's a new election, so there's more certainty. But at the same time, those are kind of external factors. But internally, bigger resource. We brought on a COO, probably the best person that I could think of in the world to come build this mine. He's just joined us, and we kept putting out some really high-grade drill results. And that I think what that's showing the market is that the value of what we have, the grade of what we have, could very well be very high margin. It could be one of the highest margin silver mines out there. So a lot of this was happening all at the same time. And then, even just to add to that, the silver price looks like it's going to keep on going. I'm very bullish on the silver price. And I think that we're going to have a company, Vizsla Silver, that's going to enter into production at a time where silver is doing really, really well. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, for sure. So some people are looking at holding, well, a lot of my audience, they do stacking. They stack silver ounces in bars and such. And so what's the benefits of owning shares of the silver in the ground versus like just solely stacking physical metals?
I think both. I think stacking physical metals is important. I think I don't know if I ever call myself a stacker, but I definitely own precious metals, and I'm obsessed by the industry. It's kind of my passion. But the way that I chose to get the most exposure to that, is by owning shares of a company that has a huge amount of metal in the ground. And then we can take that metal out of the ground ideally really cost effectively. So the reason that people historically have bought equities in these companies is because it provides leverage over the actual metal, and you get outsized returns. If it's like for instance today, silver's up maybe 1% or 2%, and Vizsla's up 4%. Now, it's not saying that that's always the ratio that's going to happen. Sometimes silver goes up and Vizsla goes down. Can't control the share price all the time. Or can't say that it's always going to, not to say can't control, but can't say that it's always going to trade in tandem with the price. But you really see outsized returns on these equities, and it kind of starts up here at the top with producers. Producers tend to move in step with broader silver price movements, and that's kind of the first to move. when the silver price is doing really well, then it goes down to kind of the smaller producers, and then eventually comes down to the developers and explorers. But by that time, you know, the return that you get on explorers and developers typically much outpaces the producers. So when you come down to kind of, you know, the lower market cap companies, you get extremely outsized returns to the metal price. So that's why we built a business around that. You know, we expect the silver price to go up, and we think it's probably the best way to play it is equities in companies like Vizsla. And I think Vizsla, I'm biased of course, but I think Vizsla is the best way to play it.
Yeah, for sure. That's really good. So what are you seeing? So there's Vizsla is silver company. You might mainly focus silver. So why silver?
Well, you know, the silver price. So I have a group of investments. It's a private company, but it's kind of our mothership. Vizsla Silver is our biggest company, but we have, you know, investments in gold and in uranium and other commodities. But I think that the setup for silver is better than any other commodity. You have two reasons for this. One is the industrial demand, which, you know, has to do with EVs and solar panels. You know, that demand is growing at such a pace that it doesn't seem like there's any way for the current deficit to be filled. The demand is really outstripping supply. There's no new supply coming online to come meet that gap. So we're starting to eat up all the above ground available silver. I mean, eventually people will be pawning, you know, silver bracelets and silver jewelry, and that's going to go into these solar panels, but mine supply can't catch up. So the industrial demand is unlike anything we've seen historically in silver, so that's great. But then you also have the added benefit of silver being a precious metal, which means it acts like gold. So we're starting to see we're seeing record gold prices. And, you know, the debt load of the U.S., the uncertainty around the world. There's two ways to win basically with silver: industrial and monetary metal. And the setup for both is really incredible. So we love that setup for silver.
That's good. So so obviously, you know, silver price. You got the silver to gold ratio. It's come down a little bit. Are you expecting that gap to close significantly more, or what's your outlook going forward with silver versus gold?
I think so. You know, in the last four markets for silver always historically, and usually it's about 6 months, but it lags behind gold's moves about 6 months, and then it catches up. And I think we're at that point right now, and it's just starting to outpace gold. So I do think that, you know, silver is going to start to appreciate versus gold. But at the same time, gold's going to be going up. Yeah. So it's kind of a perfect setup.
That's good. Well, where can people find more information about Vizsla and what you all are up to?
Yeah, I'm on, myself on Twitter. Vizsla Silver's on Twitter, or X, I should say, and you know, our website vizslasilver.ca. So lots of ways to find us, but just Google us.
Cool. All right, I'll be sure to link to that in the description. You all be sure to go check that out. Appreciate you for coming on, Mike.
Thank you very much.